Hello, I'm Jay, owner of Volunteer Audio in Oliver Springs, Tennessee, and I'm going to show you today how to take your new 2023 CVO Road Glide and upgrade the speakers, both the front and the rear. I'm going to show you how to put the Hertz SX165Neos in the front and how to put our new modified SX690Neos in the back. What that's going to do is go from that factory small 5x7 to a really high quality 6x9. It's going to give you much better sound. So keep watching this video. I'll go over the details on these speakers and show you exactly how to swap them in your bike. This video is brought to you by VolunteerAudio.com, your #1 source for all things Harley Davidson audio. From individual radios, speakers, and amps to complete plug-and-play amp and speaker systems, we've got you covered. And once you've ordered your package from Volunteer Audio, it includes lifetime tech support. And we have the very best step-by-step installation video so you can install it yourself and save money. All right, first I'm going to show you what we're taking out. This is the Rockford Fosgate 6.5 that's in the fairing of the new CVO Road Glide or Street Glide. The biggest problem with it, it really doesn't have a large enough magnet. It doesn't handle enough power. Now in the short term, we're going to be using the factory Rockford amp that's in there now. We've done the latest software update, which is really, really important because it gives us the most output out of that amp. In the next couple of months, we hope to have our A to B interface done and have a much larger Hertz amp upgrade available as well. So for now, we're going to do the Hertz speakers. It's going to be a big improvement in overall sound quality because it's just a much higher quality speaker. It has a much better tweeter. It has a better woofer. It has a much stronger neodymium magnet, meaning it's going to handle more power, but at the same time, it's more efficient. So it's going to be louder even now on that stock amplifier. But when we come out with our large amp upgrade, which is going to be more than 3 to 4 times the power the stock amp is, these speakers are still going to handle that power. So you're not throwing money away going ahead and doing an upgrade now while we wait on the development of these new parts. Also from the factory, we have a 5x7-inch speaker in the rear. It's very, very small. It doesn't have enough overall surface area. It doesn't have a big enough magnet. It's actually to the point they put a plastic cover on the magnet to keep your jacket, your things that you have in your bag from being damaged from the heat that's generated where it's undersized. We're going to be able to drop in one of these Hertz SX690s. It's going to have a large Neo magnet. It's going to have a large 6x9-inch cone. So we're going to get more sound to you. And we modify these here to make it a direct drop-in so there's nothing has to be modified about your new bike. So I'm going to show you just how easy this is to go in, and it's going to make a huge sound upgrade now. It's going to be better clarity. So we're going to have better mid-bass, and we're also going to have more volume than we had before. And then later, like I say, when we release the amplifier, it's going to be over-the-top amazing when you do the amp upgrade. And a lot of you, I'm actually afraid to say this, I've already done this on our Street Glide, you may not ever do the amp upgrade after doing this because it sounds so good with just this being done. So all we're going to need today is a T20 Torx driver and some sort of a panel removal tool. Very, very limited tools needed to do this, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. So let's go to the bike, let's start tearing it apart, and we'll get our speakers swapped out. All right, so normally we would use a panel removal tool to remove our front speaker grills. If you don't have one of these, I'm actually going to show you how to do it without it because you really don't have to have this. On this speaker grill from the factory, there are 2 clips at the top that just snap in. If you'll grab the top edge and just pull out, you'll see that release, and then pull around here and you'll release the second one. There's 2 little tabs at the bottom that lip in here, and we want to make sure we pull the top out first so those come out without breaking them. But just that simple, you can have your grill removed. Now, we're going to take our T20 Torx driver, and we're going to remove the 4 screws that are holding our speaker in. Now save these, we're going to be reusing these shortly to install our new Hertz speakers. All right, so there's no fairing removal needed to access these speakers. On the Street Glide, we had to remove the fairing, but if the handlebars had been changed, there was a good chance we wouldn't have had to have done it on that. So now that our 4 screws are out, we're going to remove our factory speaker wires. This clear, smaller terminal is going to be your positive. This larger black terminal is going to be your negative. We're going to unplug both of those, set our old speaker to the side. Now, You could just plug your speaker in, but I'm always going to take a pair of pliers and I'm going to squeeze these terminals a little tighter just to make sure they never come unplugged while we're riding down the road and we don't have to pull the speakers back out later. So I'm going to take my Hertz speaker. Now, because this speaker has a neodymium magnet, it's very, very shallow, it's very small on the back, and it's going to fit these pods. Now, most speakers are not going to fit in here without modification. These Hertz Neos are one of the best speakers you can put in your bike, but at the same time, they're going to drop right in, and you're not going to have to do any cutting or modifying of your Harley to get them to fit. So again, our positive terminals go into the clear, smaller one, our negatives to this black, larger one. We're just going to fish it in, just kind of slide it up here where it goes. Line up our holes. Start each screw before we tighten any of them all the way down. This is one of our favorite speakers to use in a Harley. We've got hundreds of videos where we've done this speaker over and over. They're extremely well built, very difficult to blow, and they have a 3-year warranty, so it's an excellent speaker to put in. And we'll also show you at the end what EQ settings to do on the radio to get the most out of these, to get the best clear sound with that stock amp. So all 4 screws are in. I'm just tightening up the last one now. And just that easy, we have replaced our front speaker in just like a minute. I mean, we've not been working on this long at all. Take our grill, slide these bottom clips in first, look through and just kind of line up these snap clips, push it in, and we've swapped out our speaker. Now we're working on replacement logos now that'll be available eventually at volunteeraudio.com to change out those Rockford logos for a logo that says Hertz or Volunteer Audio. We're working on a couple of different designs. We'll have those available shortly. But for now, we're going to leave those in place and we'll have one later you just change out. The grill's really well built. We just don't want to leave that logo once we have much, much better speakers. Now to do the other side, you're going to follow the same steps. All you're going to do is turn your handlebar the other way, remove the grill, same 4 screws, squeeze those terminals, put your new speaker in, and you're going to be done. So I'm going to move on now to the back because I don't want to spend a lot of your time. I want you to see just how easy it is to change out the rear speakers with our new drop-in 6x9s. So same thing here, we're going to disconnect our positive and negative wires. And this larger black one is going to be our negative. And that clear one there is going to be our positive. I'm going to grab a pair of pliers just to allow us to pull a little stronger on this. All right, so now both of those are unplugged. All right, so I'm going to take my T20, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove these 4 shiny screws that are holding the grill on. Now when you get to your last screw, reach your hand around the other side and hold the grill, because once you remove it, it could fall off. We don't want it to land on the floor and cause any damage to it. One great thing about this 6x9 upgrade is it's not going to interfere with anything. There's no cutting or modifying to be done back here. Very, very simple for you to do yourself. Now I've got my last screw here. Got my hand on the other side on the grill. So I'm going to pull that screw out. I'm going to shut my lid back. Now I'm just going to lift and remove our grill. All right, so at this point we're going to take that same T20 and we're just going to remove the 4 screws on the outside edge of this speaker. Now that we have our 4 screws out, we're just going to grab the speaker, lift it up, and remove it. All right, so when you get your replacement speakers from Volunteer Audio, we've already notched some of the corners of the speaker to actually clear some things that are interfering here inside the stock lid. Now, by having us do this, you're going to keep your full 3-year warranty. We are your authorized dealer. We did the modification. Now, if you order a set of speakers and you start cutting on them yourself, you're going to void those warranties, and we don't want that to happen. We're not adding any significant amount of money for doing this. We just want to make sure it's right. We want to make sure it's easy when you get it. We're also adding a foam gasket to the back of the speaker so that once it drops in the lid, it's going to be sealed up really nice to keep water and other things out. So our speaker is going to drop right in. It's going to line up with those original screw holes. We're going to use those same 4 screws. And again, we're going to start each one, and then we're going to tighten them all up. Now I'm on my last screw. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down, compressing that gasket. All right, so now we're going to open our lid back up. I want to show you how to connect the speaker terminals. Same thing that we did before. We're just going to take a little pair of pliers and we're going to squeeze these a little tighter. And now, you can see they're marked negative and positive. The clear one is your positive. They don't give you a lot of lead in here. We're going to make sure that we get this plugged in. Just like that, we're installed. As you notice, it fits and clears perfectly. I'm going to take our grill and put it back on now with those 4 original shiny screws. Put our grill in place, open it up. Starting each one of these screws so we don't have our grill fall off. All right, now that we're on our last one, I'm just making sure that our grill is fell into each one of its grooves as I tighten up our screws. All right, so that quick and that easy, we've got a 6x9 installed in our lids. We went from that too small 5x7 up to a full-size speaker. Now, I've already had customers call in and tell me they've already blown the factory 5x7s. So we know that you need to do this upgrade to long-term have better results. But at the same time, it's going to be louder, it's going to be clearer, it's going to be easier to hear going down the road, and overall just much, much more enjoyable. When we first got this bike and listened to it, I was very disappointed in not only the total output, but how distorted it was when it was loud. This is going to take care of that and make it much, much better. We know there's a Rockford Stage 3 6x9 upgrade available at your dealer. That 6x9 is ridiculously priced for what you're getting. You're getting a very low quality speaker at a very high price. You're not paying much more to get all 4 of the Hertz speakers, which are much better in every way. But the factory speaker also requires what they call a Stage 3 flash that your local dealer does. Now, we've seen after doing the latest update in the radio, the latest amplifier update, which is available at Harley's website. You put it on a USB, you can do this yourself. It costs you nothing to do the update. We're getting the same output, the same upgrade as doing that Stage 3 flash, but we're also getting some EQ adjustments that Harley stepped in and fixed. We did a previous video. If you go back through YouTube and look at Volunteer Audio, you'll see when we first got our Street Glide, we tested that amp. We checked how much power it put out. We tested it on a dyno. We also checked the EQ to see what it was doing and found out it had this crazy 24 dB bass boost that just distorted everything, made it sound terrible. Seems like they've brought that down to like an 8 to 10 dB bass boost now. So it's changed some of the settings into custom EQ that we recommend that you do. One of the other questions we've been getting is, are these speakers 2 ohm or 4 ohm? The stock speakers are 2 ohm, these speakers are 4 ohm, but that's going to open you up to a lot of ability to upgrade in the future. Once you do your bigger amp upgrade, if you did a tour pack with speakers or some sort of lowers with speakers, they could be added to that same amp and you wouldn't have to do a second amplifier. These speakers are so efficient, even being 4 ohm, they're much louder than the 2 ohm speakers that were in here stock. We wouldn't lead you in the wrong directions, and I know you're worried. You bought a $50,000 motorcycle and the stereo was terrible. This is going to make a big difference. It's going to make it a lot better. And if you want even more, a couple months from now, we'll have that amp upgrade to make it even more over the top. So let's power up our radio. I'm going to go into the EQ and I'm going to show you exactly what settings I want you to do to get the best, cleanest sound out of this. All right, so I want to show you in the EQ of the radio where we found that is the best setting to get the most output out of the amp and at the same time not enough distortion that makes it audible. So there is a setting called the HD Signature Tune. That is going to be one of the EQ settings, and we find that it has too much bass in it. It's very distorted, and it is equivalent to taking this custom EQ and maxing all the bands all the way to the top. Now the reason they did this is the amplifier uses this new A to B interface from the radio to the amp. It's no longer using speaker wires. And when you turn this up, it's actually turning up the output of the amplifier so the amp does more output. Makes it louder, makes it where you can hear it better. But what we found is if we take these first 5 all the way to the top, take the bass one for the 80 Hertz range, and we put it about right in here, and then we make this a nice sweeping move at 250 here. So we're not 3/4 of the way on 80, we're just 1 notch below that. Then we're taking that 250 and making a good even swoop from there to 500. We get more output in the vocal range, more output in the treble range, and we're not distorting the bass so much that our music just becomes too distorted to hear clearly. Now we've put really good speakers in it. This is going to give us a better signal to it, and this is after we've done the latest amplifier software update. Again, you need to do that for this to be right. If you haven't done that, you got to look back to our older video where we show you a different EQ setting But I don't want you to do that because this is going to give you more output to your new speakers. It's going to make you overall happier with your whole investment. All right, so let's bring up some of our music that we have. We've got this copyright-free music that we have to play for YouTube, but I want you to hear what this sounds like because it's been a lot of talk with not a lot to listen to yet. So let's bring something up and see what it's going to sound like. All right, so previous to doing the upgrade, if I turned it up that loud, I felt like it was distorted, it was muddy, it was unclear. That was full volume on this radio, playing a Bluetooth track from our phone, but with these new speakers, it's crystal clear. The bass is still very good, and a lot of you have asked on our previous video about polarity checking. We did polarity test both of the new systems, and so far, each one that we've tested, they were correct. So as long as you follow the directions on where to put the positive and negative wires that we shared with you, you should not need to polarity test the system to make sure it's right. But overall, it's much louder, it's much clearer, it's very, very easy to do, and it's not crazy expensive. And I know you're going to repeatedly blow those Rockford speakers, and this is going to solve that problem as well at the same time. Thank you so much for watching. This package is available at volunteeraudio.com, pre-modified for your rear 6x9s and the SX165s for the front. Now you could do just the 6x9s, but I highly suggest doing the front speakers as well. They're not that much more money. They're easy to change out, and the biggest improvement are going to be from the speakers pointed at your head while you're riding, which these are going to do. So thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Volunteer Audio's YouTube channel. Doing so is going to keep you up to date with the latest audio for your Harley, including when we release our big amp upgrade that we're going to do later. We also have some other projects in the works for this bike, and if you watch there, you're going to learn first about it. You're not going to find out after the fact when everybody else has already got it. Like this video, that helps us. It moves us up in search results. It allows other people to see the video, and we really appreciate you doing that. Now, if you have any questions, comment below. I'll be quick to reply back and answer those for you. All of our available packages for all the different types of Harleys are available at volunteeraudio.com. Click the menu button, click on motorcycles, and do complete plug-and-play speaker and amp packages. If you have questions about those, you're not comfortable doing this on your own, call us. 1-844-30-AUDIO. We'd love to hear from you, talk to you about your bike, whether you want to get Chromeworks exhaust or upgrade your audio. We've got so many things that we offer, and we are experts on those, so when you have questions, we can help you make the right decision. So definitely give us a call. We'd love to speak to you and make sure you get those right parts. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, God bless.